Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashai, Bahasham, Rikakwadash, Barakta Yahweh, Barakta Yahawashai. Yahweh is the true name of the true God, the God of Israel, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of the Bible. Yahweh is his true name. And the true name of his only begotten Son is Yahawashai, the one whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ and other different names. His true name is Yahawashai. My double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone GMS. These are the men that taught me this truth, which is the 100% truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect spread around the four corners of the earth, pushing this gospel in all sincerity, most especially in these last days. Now, today I'm not doing no live streaming because them devils really, I don't know what's going on, you know. They striked my first channel and they also striked my second channel for videos, old videos that we've done. And you see, they're looking for different ways to make sure that they shut the mouth of the prophets. And this thing is kind of like really frustrating because, you know, we're careful the kind of words we use. We choose our words, you know. And then what they do is they go back to your old videos, and they try to look for different things to close up your channel. But it's all good. We know it's all part of prophecy. You know, the devil needs to play his part as the devil. And Esau, Edom, the so-called white man in power today, is the devil. You know, so he has to do his part. And regarding to the book of Amos 8 and 11, famine of the world, this man needs to be the one to push this wickedness. I'm going to shift the camera a little bit because, you know, the sun is getting a little too hot. And you see, when these people start doing things like this, you should know that they're up to something. You know, these devils are up to something. They're about to push out the CBDCs, the central bank and digital currency, in which it's going to be given out via the way of the RFID chip. You know, the CHIP, the MICROCHIP. So once they're about to do something big, they always make sure they put aside the people that are going to speak the truth and come against it. You know, they try to shut them up. So it's all good anyway. It's all good. And this thing is really annoying because I'm trying to do a live lesson even on the third channel, but it's not yet activated for live lessons. But it's all good, you know. We'll keep doing this work until the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai says it's okay, it's over, you know. So I had in my mind, you know, to do a lesson on knowing what time it is and choosing your priorities right. Okay, knowing what time it is and choosing your priorities right. Because you see, our people lately, they're lost because they don't know what time it is, first of all, and they're not choosing their priorities right. And if you don't know what time it is, you can't choose the right priority. You know, you can't prioritize yourself on the right things. And as you can see, we have all different kinds of prophecies that are breaking up. We see that the stage for the World War III that the Bible speaks about, the stage is being prepared, and it's inevitable. Okay, Russia is going to destroy the United States, which is Babylon the Great, and all its allies are all going to fall. And this is going to be the end of this wicked kingdom. So you see, that stage is being prepared even now than ever. We're seeing countries, you know, preparing their silos, preparing their nuclear bombs, their warheads and all that. You know, we can see that this war is about to unleash, but there is one major prophecy that needs to come out before this war starts. And it's going to be the MOTB, the grain of rice that's going to be inserted under the skin of people. Without that grain of rice, you can't buy, you can't sell, which is what's written in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, from the 16th verse all the way down. You see? So without that, you can't buy, you can't sell. And that's the prophecy we're actually waiting for. And this prophecy, it's going to kick off anytime from now. And anytime that prophecy kicks off, it's not going to take any long. Then all hell is going to break loose, you know. And this is all due to prophecy. So you really need to know what time it is and choose and set your priorities right. I'm going to go into the book of Daniel, in which, you know, we've done various breakdowns, starting from the elder Apostle Taha, you know. Hey. So I'm just going to go real quick, just go through to show you what time it is and where we are in prophecy, you know. So this is the book of Daniel chapter 2. I'll start from verse 32. It quotes, this image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thigh of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. So this was a vision that was given to the king Nebuchadnezzar. You know, he saw this great image. As I read, the head was of gold, the chest was of silver, the belly and the thigh was of bronze, the legs of iron, and the feet of iron mixed with clay. You know, the Most High put the spirit on him to get him worried about this vision, and he called all his magi's, all his sorcerers, all his everything, you know, in his kingdom, and no one could break down this dream. But the Most High put the spirit in Daniel to break this dream down. And this dream is very, very important in understanding what time it is, you know, where we are in prophecy today. Okay, and that's a very beautiful map that the Most High has given to us to know what time it is. So he says the head of gold. Now let's see what the head of gold is. He says in verse 34, thou sawest still that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon its feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. So that image that was seen, he also saw a stone that was not broken with hands, a stone that was cast, and that stone, you know, it brought down this great image. And we'll see all what that is. And it broke the image into pieces. Verse 35, then was the iron and the clay and the brass, the silver and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. We're coming back to this verse. Okay, we need to come back to this verse, but first of all, let's get what the image is. Verse 36, it says, this is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof because of the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the power, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai of heaven, hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of heaven, hath he given unto thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. So you see that head of gold represented the king Nebuchadnezzar. That was the Babylonian kingdom, the Syrian and Babylonian and Assyrian kingdom. That was the end of gold, and we know that these people already reigned, okay, and their kingdom has been transferred to someone else. So we know the Babylonians, their time is past. So bear in mind, we're trying to understand what time it is, you know, what time it is in prophecy, and what priorities we should give to ourselves at this time. So we know that head of gold is done away with, okay. Verse 39 says, after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass. And that second kingdom that shall arise after the kingdom of the Babylonians was the kingdom of the Medes and the Persians. Okay, that was also another powerful kingdom, but it was inferior to the kingdom of the Babylonians. And you can read on, I think the fourth chapter, it tells you how the Medes and the Persians, they got into power and brought down the Babylonians. It was a surgical strike. They didn't have to go through any war or whatever, you know. They just had a mission. They slaughtered the king on his throne, and they took the throne. Okay. So that kingdom also, it fell. The kingdom of the Medes and the Persians, it fell. It fell to the hands of the Greeks, in which that's the belly and thigh of brass. Okay. And if you read the book of Maccabees, the first chapter, it tells you that when the Greeks got into power, wickedness spread all through the earth. That was when the wicked that the Bible speaks of, got into power. And we can trace back the seed of the Greeks, you know, to Agag, king of Agag, the Macedonians, to Amalek, to a tribe of the sons of Esau. You know, these are the wicked that the Bible speaks about. And guess what? That kingdom is still incorporated in the kingdom that we are actually today. So it says in verse 39, and after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And that's the Greek. It says, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all this, shall it break in pieces and bruise. So you see, this kingdom that's been spoken of, this kingdom of iron, is the kingdom of the Romans. You know, the Romans got into power after the Greeks, in which they are all the same people. They're still the same people. You know, the Greeks and the Roman. Speaking about the false Greeks, because you have the original people of Greek. These are the Etruscans and the Minoans. Okay, these were the true people of Greek, and this was a tribe. This was of the seed of Japheth. You know, before the so-called white man Esau, Edom, you know, they overtook that kingdom and they made it themselves. They called the Bible tells you that they name the lands that they take after their sons, man. You know, and this is how they've always done from time to time. Esau, Edom, the wicked. So speaking on from the kingdom of the Greeks, it went down to the kingdom of the Romans. And now, speaking of the last kingdom that shall reign, which is the kingdom that we're living in now, right now, it says, verse 41, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. So it's telling you that that kingdom, that Roman kingdom, is still that same kingdom that went down to the feet with the miry clay. You know, so they took a different kind of identity, and that's the people that are ruling today. You know, they come by the way of democracy and all of that different kinds of disguised name. You know, and these are the people that are in power even till today. The Romans are still in power, which are always the seed of Esau, Edom. You know, they went from being called Esau, Edom. You know, they went from that, they started calling themselves the Greeks. Then they went from that, they started calling themselves the Romans. And now they're calling themselves the so-called white man right now, you see? And they do all this in order to hide their true identity as Esau, Edom. Esau, Edom is a seed in which the Most High has an indignation forever. Okay, it's a cursed seed. You know, it's the seed of the wicked, as written in the book of Malachi, the first chapter, the fourth verse. This is the book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 4. It quotes, whereas Edom sayest, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. So you see, there was a time that Esau, Edom, you know, the cost that was, it goes way deeper than that, man. You know, and this same seed, you see, the scriptures go way deeper than that. You know, but I'm just trying to explain it in an easy way for someone who is new, because, you know, I learned this truth from the elders, starting from the elder Apostle Taha to the rest of them elders, to them brothers of Great Millstone, you know. And I know majority of the people that are in this truth, they already know this information. But I'm doing this lesson for maybe someone that's new into this truth that doesn't know about this. But I wouldn't go too deep, you know. But these people, there was a time in which, you know, there was a curse on them. Let me just put it like that. And these people, they were actually seen as the scum of the earth, man. They were seen as the basest of all basest. You know, they were living in caves. They had no language. They snort, they gnot. And this goes back to the book of Job. Is it the 30th chapter? Just give you an example of what the so-called white man was and how he's been trying to disguise himself and hide his identity. This is the book of Job, chapter 30. Hey, what did I just do? Did I close? Anyway, I get it back. This is the book of Job, chapter 30. It says, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flocks. This was the nature of the so-called white man at that time, man. You know. And this is speaking of the time when King David reigned. You can go read the book of 1 Samuel, the book of Kings. It tells you that when King David was in power, the Edomites were under captivity of the Israelites, and they paid tributes to the Israelites. You know, they were under hardcore captivity, and they had to pay tributes to the Israelites. You know. So he reads on, and this is their nature. He reads on, it says, I would have disdained to have set with my dogs of my flocks. You see, these people, you wouldn't even want to have them around your dogs. This was how vile and base these men are. You can see today, they have sex with dogs. They sleep with dogs. They kiss the dogs with their mouth and all that. This is a very base set of people. This is a base race of people. The so-called white man that's in power today, Esau Edom. Okay, reading on, it says in verse 2, it says, yea, whereto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished, for want and famine they were solitary. You know, these people were solitary. They lived in the caves and in the rocks. Nobody wanted to have them around. And you see that the so-called white skin is a curse, man. It is lack of pigmentation, lack of melanin. And if you can go read the book of Leviticus, you know, Miriam was cursed, and her pigmentation was taken off her skin, and she became the so-called white man, you know. And truly, the color is not really white. They just had to put that stigma on themselves to make them look superior. You have only different grades of brown people. There is no black people on the face of the earth. You have different grades of brown people and different grades of red people. Okay. Now, speaking of this so-called white man, I want to just put out a point, because many of our brothers, you know, who have been carried away into different nations, and according to the Bible, you're the seed of your father. If me being a so-called black man, I might have a son with a so-called white woman, and the son comes out looking like an outcast, that son is an Israelite. That son is an Israelite because his father is an Israelite. And guess what? If that son grows up and goes on to marry, to have sex with maybe another Edomite, an Edomite woman, a so-called blonde, blue eye and all that, and the child comes out looking like a so-called white man, that child is an Israelite. So when we speak about the so-called white man, there are certain of our people, the Israelites, who are the so-called Negroes, Native Americans, and the Latinos, for the major part. We have Israelites in the midst of these so-called white people. Not all so-called looking like white man is an Edomite. You have also Israelites amongst them, but they're looking like the so-called white man. So it's a mystery. It's not about the color of the skin. It's not about all that, you know. It's a mystery that the Most High has kept out there. But the Spirit beareth witness who the true sons of the Most High are. If this truth sounds right into your ears, it touches your heart, the Spirit compels you to repent, then you're probably a son of Israel. Because you see, the people of other nations, they can't receive this truth. This truth is only and solely for the sons of Israel. As a matter of fact, before starting the lesson, I had two witches come here. You know, they stopped by and they were like, maybe they were congratulating me for coming out to do this work and all that, you know. So I started like trying to test their spirits, who they were, you know. And I found out that they were teachers of this Kabbalah, you know. And which, before I came into this truth, I was also into all this BS Kabbalah. I went into the Kabbalah, you know, studied some of the Kabbalah, and I saw that it was a labyrinth of death, you know. The Kabbalah, the so-called Kabbalah, is witchcraft. You know, it's a labyrinth that it takes you, and you never get to any conclusion. It is totally confusion, man, you know. So they came and they started, you know, so when I started telling them the truth that, you know, this truth, they were bringing out the Torah, you know, that the Bible this, the Bible that. So I told them, what's the meaning of the Torah? The Torah are the laws given to Moses by the Most High. And I asked them who was the set of people that this law was given to, you know. And that was when the demons that they had in them started coming out. They started coming against me. No. So I rebuked them and they left. So I started the lesson. So you see, what was I even saying? You know, speaking about the so-called white man, they were under our captivity and they were base men, man. You know, reading on the book of Job, chapter 30, verse 4. Let me start from 3. It says, for want and famine, they were solitary, flying into the wilderness, in former time, desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They were driven from among men, you know. People saw that wicked spirits in them and, you know, they were driven. Nobody wanted to be around the so-called white men. So that's why they had to segregate themselves. They went down to the caves, man. It says they were driven forth from amongst men. They cried after them as after a thief. And this man is a natural thief, man. Is a natural thief. You know, everything that he has today is nothing that he suffered to gain. Everything is ill-gotten riches. He sees your land is blessed with different kinds of resources. Instead of trying to, you know, work to get some of your resources, he works in order to steal everything that you have, you know. He's been stealing from all different kinds of countries. He's been stealing from all different nations. He's been stealing all resources all over the earth. This is the nature of this so-called white man. You see, it says they cried after them as after a thief. It says in verse 6, to dwell in the cleaves of the valley, in caves of the earth and in the rocks, among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. So you see, they were living in them caves, man. You know, that's why they like going this mountain climbing, the so-called white man. You see, the spirit still pushes them back because, you know, that's the spirit, man. Verse 8, it says they were children of fools, children of base men. They were viler than the earth. So you see, these were children of fools, and now these children of fools are the ones ruling. And as a matter of fact, as I was saying earlier, they came into power, you know, at the time of Alexander the Great. Alexander the Greek. That was when they came into power. And the first book of Maccabees, the first chapter, lets you know that once they came into power, wickedness became the order of the day. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 9. It says, and after his death, after the death of Alexander the Great, the so-called Alexander the Great, but we call him Alexander the Edomite. Okay, so verse 9, First Maccabees 1:9, and for those who might be wondering about the book of First Maccabees, these are actual scriptures that are in the Bible. I have a King James version of 1611 edition, and it carries all these apocryphas that were later taken away from the Bible. Okay, so these are parts of the scriptures, man. Going to move furthermore. So reading on, verse 9, it says, and after his death, They all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. So after the death of Alexander, the Edomites, you know, the one the world called Alexander the Great, after his death, his kingdom was shared to major four of his general. You have Cassander, you have Lysimachus, you have Ptolemy, and you have Cassander, Lysimachus, Ptolemy, and Seleucus. Okay, so you see, when these people came into power, wickedness became to be the order of the day, and wickedness filled the earth. Why? Because the wicked, they started bearing rule, just like the book of Proverbs 29:16 says. Let me close this. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 16. It says, when the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous see their fall. So you see, when the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth. And there is also the scripture that tells you, I think always here, it says, when the wicked is in power, the people mourn. So you see, that's why, you know, we're catching all the hells that we're catching today. That's why we're suffering. You know, we have bills that are choking us to death. You know, there is no happiness in this place. Why? Because the wicked are in power. That's why you need to pray for the kingdom of heaven to come, where righteousness is going to be the order of the day, where everything is going to be ruled in justice and not in wickedness, just like this man. You have people, you know, the PEDO, you know, and you have all the groups of the elites, you know, drinking baby blood and doing all different kinds of wickedness, and which they've been caught, man, you know, but in some way, in somehow, they flee judgment, and they push the agenda to you and try to make you accept the agenda. Now they call them different names. They don't call them PEDO anymore. Now they call them minor attracted persons or something like that, MAPS. Okay, so you see, this is the wicked. When they are in power, when they increase, wickedness increases. You see. So going back to the book of Malachi, the first chapter, the 4th verse, whereas Edom said we were impoverished, that is speaking about everything I just explained in the book of Job. You know, they were living in caves, you know, but later they got into power, and they are in power even till now. So that's why you really need to know what time it is. So it says, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai hath indignation forever. So you see, this is a cursed people. This is a people that the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has an indignation against forever. So going back to the prophecy of Daniel. So this people, you know, we were speaking about the vision that King Nebuchadnezzar saw, which the head of gold represented the Babylonian and the Assyrian dynasty, okay, and which was gone. Then the chest represented the Medes and the Persians, also is gone. And the belly and the thigh represents the kingdom of the Greeks. This is when wickedness came into power, man. You see? And the legs goes to the Romans, in which they are still the same people, man. Hey, this sun is just coming after me. So as I was saying, from the Greeks to the Romans until today, to the so-called democracy, you know, which everything in this society goes back to the ancient Romans, man. You know, that's why the so-called white man will tell you that civilization started in Greece. The civilization never started in Greece. It's telling you when they got into power. That's what the white man is telling you, you know. the so-called white man. So going back to the book of Daniel chapter 2, verse 41, it says, whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in them of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And this is speaking of this kingdom. The iron represents their military power, man. These people, they actually have weapons of wars that we didn't even have in the past. That is that iron, okay? And it says, as iron does not mix with clay, so is this kingdom. This kingdom, they don't really go that much in harmony. I'm telling you about the so-called Russians. The Russians are also of the family of the Edomites. You know, they are Edomites. They are the brothers of these so-called Americans and so-called Europeans. They are of the same roots. They are all Edomites. But you see, they don't agree with themselves. And this is a prophecy also in the book of Isaiah that I shall make Egypt go against Egypt. So it's the Most High bringing, you know, the destruction of this kingdom with their own hands. You know, is using them against them. And Kalala Yahweh Shem Yahushai, all praises to the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That's why you definitely need to know what time it is and set your priorities right. Okay? So reading on, it says in verse 42, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. It's a strong kingdom. They have a military power. They built the NATO. You know, they have a strong strength of military. Child. You see? But they are not united. They are not united. And as we see everything going, a time is coming in which you see, oh, NATO is going to be divided, man. Various countries of the NATO, they're all going to go against America, which is Babylon the Great, that war that's spoken of in the book of Revelation. She's the one causing the world problems that are upon the face of the earth. This is the rulership of the devils, you know. And the reason why I'm doing this lesson is to let you know that this is the last rulership to rule upon the earth. This is knowing what time it is. And you now knowing what time it is, that this is the last rulership that's going to reign upon the earth, there is a way you're meant to carry yourself. There is a way you're meant to behave. There are certain things you're meant to do. Okay? And it says, it says, verse 43, book of Daniel 2:43. It says, and whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is mixed with clay. And in the days of the king shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. And this is the kingdom that's meant to come. That stone represents Yahushua, and it represents Israel, in which the word Israel is Yashar Allah, the princes of the power. So that's the kingdom of heaven that's about to come. The so-called black man, the so-called Native Americans and the Negroes, these people that are seen as nothing, they're about to be the next rulers of this kingdom that we're about to step into. You see? And this is how the story gets more beautiful. You see? We've been neglected. We've been called all different kinds of names. We've gone through all different kinds of discriminations and things. You see, but the kingdom is about to become ours. And you see those people, these devils that are ruling right now, the so-called white man, the banking families, they are all going into captivity for 1,000 years, in which after the 1,000 years, they're all going to be gathered together and destroyed, man. That is regarding the book of Obadiah 1:18. Okay? So you see, so you should know what time it is. And this is the last rulership. This is the last rulership to rule before the kingdom of heaven gets established. Before our Savior Yahushua, the one whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus, Yeshua, Jehovah, and all different kinds of mad names, you know. Before his kingdom gets established, this is the last rulership. This is knowing what time it is. It's just like, for example, I don't really know much about the stock market and all that. You know, you should know what time it is. And these people, they know what time it is. In the stock market, I use it for example. when goods are cheap, they buy out everything, you know. They buy out everything. Then when the prices go up, they sell out and make 3 or 4 times the money that they got, they paid for those goods. You see, this is exactly what we're meant to do through the spirit and power of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Knowing what time it is, this is the time. You're really seeing that we are almost at we are the last seconds of the rulership of these devils. You know, this is the time you really want to start putting in, trying to get more spiritual power from the Most High, praying for mercy in the days to come. This is the time you really want to know your power. This is the time you really want to seek the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. You know, this is not the time to be messing around and doing all different kinds of madness. You know, going after, you know, uncertain riches, as written in the book of 1 Timothy. This is not the time you want to start going after some careers in which you will never get to. You know, this is the time you want to seek the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Now, let me get a precept from the book of Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 1. It says, "Remember now the Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not." This is the time you want to start remembering the Creator, seek the Creator, you know. The Most High says, if you seek me with all your heart, and that's in the book of Jeremiah, if you seek me with all your heart, then I'm going to reveal myself to you. This is the time you really want to start seeking for the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, seeking his true names, you know, coming out from all these dead religions that you find yourself, all these dead doctrines. And that's what we do, man. You know, we're not bringing you into Christianity or all that. You know, we're rebuking Christianity, we're rebuking all these religions, and we're telling you to come out of these religions, you know, because the religions don't have the answer, they don't have the truth. The truth lays in the scriptures, you know, the true heritage, you know, which is the law, statutes, and commandments given to Israel, you know. Ciao. You know what we say? Sudan. I'm from Nigeria. Yachere. Jack would never stop, man. Jack would just from a distance and move on. You know, once they see you, you're bringing out the Bible, and it might be a Jake. You know, it says it's from Sudan, but it might be a Jake. You see. So speaking on, what was I saying? The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 1. It says, "Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, why the evil days come not." Now you still have the chance to seek the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, but the evil days are right at the door, about to start. You know, these are the time of Jacob's trouble that's been written of in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 7. Also written in the book of Daniel 12 and 1. Also written in the book of 2nd Esdras, the 9th chapter, the 6th chapter, the 15th chapter, the 16th chapter. You know, we are about to get into that time in which you might not even have internet. You're definitely not going to have the prophets on the streets as you have us now, going out teaching, doing the sit downs, because it's also prophecy in the book of Amos 8 and 11. The Most High is about to bring that famine upon the face of the earth. You know, people are going to run to and fro, seeking for those men that were teaching on the streets, because everything that we're saying now, people are listening, they're taking it for granted. You know, they're going about their lives and thinking that this kingdom is never going to end, thinking that we're going to just live like this forever and evermore, you know. But to their greatest surprise, the days are coming in which these things will start happening. Just like the book of Ezekiel says, it says, "And when these things shall happen, then shall they know there have been a prophet amongst them." Now they don't take for nothing the prophet. You know, people just walk by, you know, they see you with your garment, they think maybe you're mad, you don't know what you're doing. You see? But those times are coming in which people are going to recognize everything that we're saying. These prophecies are going to come to pass, and they'll start seeking for the truth, but then it will be too late. So now that you still have your liberty to search for the truth, search for the truth. Search for the truth. You know? Fools will laugh. They will see the men of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai out there doing the work. and it looks funny to them, you know. Hey, in the days of destruction, it will look funny to us as well, man. We'll look at you people getting destroyed and would laugh. And this is prophecy. Book of Job, chapter 5, from the 18th verse down. You know, it says, in trouble we shall laugh. So, reading on, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Why the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. And this is speaking about those great days that are about to come. The day of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua is darkness, is thick darkness, is gloominess, man. It's a day of destruction. And before that day of destruction even comes, all the time of Jacob's trouble that's coming, man, people are going to go out of their mind, man. So the future, you really need to know what time it is and set your priorities right. This is not the time you want to start going after certain vain careers and vain dreams and all that madness, you know. This is the time you want to be searching for the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua with all your heart. With all your heart. Verse 3, it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. So you see, this is speaking about the grinding shall cease, man. And that grinding has to do with work. Jobs are going to be cut off. We're about to step into that time that, you know, many companies are going to close down because of the energy crisis. There's not going to be enough energy even for you to have a bulb turned on, you know. We're going back to the times of candles and, you know, sticks and all that. But people are not seeing all this. They don't know what time it is, you know. They're carried away. And you see, this is the technique that's always been used by the Romans, you know, which is these devils that are in power right now. They use these ancient techniques against you, bread and sacrifices, you know. They put out all different kinds of things to deceive you so you don't know what's going on, you know. But you see, the true men of the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we don't follow all this foolery. We follow the Bible, which is the map of life, man. This is the map that leads you to life eternal. If you neglect this book, if you neglect the prophecies that are in it, you're doomed, man. They put out sports, they put out shows, they put out all different kinds of madness. Shows on different kinds of things, man. You know, all to distract you, man. All to get your attention. People are all going after entertainment. Entertainment, in Italian, the word entertainment is divertimento, which is breaking into two. Deviare, okay, la mente, which means diverting your mind. And that's what entertainment is. Entertainment is diverting your mind. You know, taking your mind from what's important and, you know, diverting it to something else, totally different, you know. So we're getting into those times. You know, you need to start questioning yourself. You need to start questioning your doings. You need to start, you know, examining yourself as the Apostle Paul says, if you're in the truth. You know, this is not the time you want to be doing some fooleries, man. Verse 4, it says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the birds, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. You see, that time is coming in which you see all your so-called celebrities, you see all these people, you know, doing all different kinds of music and all that. Their mouths is all going to be shut, man. A time is coming in which all your riches that you have is going to fail you, man. It's going to totally fail you. It's in the book of Isaiah. It says they throw out their money, man. Let me see. I need to find that scripture. So please bear with me. Let me find the scripture. They shall cast their gold. Khan. Oh. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7, verse 19. Oh. Wow, this is a beautiful. Let me start from verse 14, man. It's a beautiful scripture, man. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 7, verse 14. It says, they have blown the trumpet even to make all ready. And this trumpet is being blown by the prophets of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You know? You have men all around the world coming out in the streets to teach, doing sit-downs. You see? So we have the prophets of the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai all around the world teaching this truth. We're blowing the trumpets, we're sounding the alarm, we're telling you, hey, wake up and know what time it is. You know? Set your priorities right. It says they have blown the trumpet, even make all ready. But none goeth to the battle, for my wrath is upon all the multitude therefore. The sword is without, and pestilence and famine within. So you see, we are getting to a time in which there is no way you can escape if you don't have the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai beside you. You know, the sword is without, and pestilence and famine within. There is nowhere you can run. The only thing that can save you is the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. The Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is the only one that can save you in the days to come. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how much food you've stockpiled. It doesn't matter if you're a prepper, if you're this, if you're that. Everything is coming to an end, man. Everything is coming to a total destruction. You see, that's why we say you should set your priorities right, man. You should know what time it is. But the fools are not going to do it. It says, verse 15, the sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. But they that escape of them shall escape, and shall be on the mountains like doves of the valleys, all of them mourning, everyone for his iniquity. Check this out. All hands shall be feeble, and all knees shall be weak as water. Verse 18, they shall all guard themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. You see, all these so-called celebrities, you know, jumping here and there, you know, my money, my gold chain, my this, my that, blah, blah, blah. The days are coming, you know, that music, those crap music that they sing, it's all going to cease, one. And two, they're all going to be ashamed because this money is going to fail them. As a matter of fact, as I said earlier, they're already preparing the CBDCs, which is with the digital currency, which are going to be given via the way of the MICROCHIP. Okay, you put that together and you know what it gives you. So you see, many people are going to lose their money because this, you know, this devil is always, he deals with different kinds of gals, man. You know, all of a sudden, you know, there might be an EMP attack, which is going to take away all light, and there's going to be darkness in the cities. And at the time that they bring everything back to normal, you check your bank accounts and you find out that all accounts are taken back to zero. You know, at that time, these people are going to go crazy. All these people that have set their minds on piling up their money, you know, chase the bag, chase the paper, you know. And that's exactly what this kingdom pushes, man. Chase the bag, you know. That's what you go to school to learn. Chase the bag. Everything all around you is chase the bag, you know. And this bag is going to fail you. So if you would like to get your money back, you'll have it via the way of the implantation of the CHIP, you know. Devils are getting ready, but our people are not getting ready. They don't know, because they don't know what time it is, man. Our people don't consider, as written in the book of Isaiah 1 and 3. You know, it says the ox knoweth its owner, the ass his master's crib. These are the two most, they say, stupid animals, you know. But you say Israel does not consider, man. Those animals are esteemed even wiser than the Israelites. Our people are all about the money, all about the fame right now. They all want to make it, you know. They're all going after their dreams, after their hearts, man. Verse 19. Ezekiel 7:19. It says, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Go and ask the people in Venezuela. Go and ask the people in Venezuela how it's going, man. Venezuela, they're going through some real hard times that, you know, their money, it's better for them to use their money to hit themselves than to get wood. And this is exactly what's coming to Europe, man. What's coming to Babylon, the great America. But the people are not ready. They're not ready. That's why the scriptures tell you, you know, you should lay up your treasures where thieves cannot steal, where corruption cannot corrupt your riches, nor neither moth or rust. Just roughly paraphrasing, you know. You want to start setting you want to, it's like a stock market, man. This is the time you really want to start investing on them spiritual things and not on these physical craps that are here. You hear, it said, they shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Their silver, their gold, their riches shall not be able, shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So all those people that are going after the bag, going after their dreams, you know, sleepwalking, them zombies all around, you know, the days are coming in which your riches, your Tesla that you just bought, your villas that you bought, your mansions and all that thing is not going to be able to save you, man, you know. Let me read it again. Ezekiel 7:19. They shall cast their silver in the streets, their gold shall be removed, their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. So you see, all these people running after their careers and all this, blah, 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 you know, it's going to be your stumbling block, man. So you see, you really need to know what time it is. You need to prioritize, how do you say? You need to set the right priorities for the time being. You know, chasing the bag and all this madness is not the time. You know, you don't know what's going on. Absolutely. Let me see if I have some more precepts. Hey, you see, Esau, Edom. I woke up this morning, looking to the sky, and you say this is that time you start getting some damn allergies. This man has been spraying all chemtrails every damn way, man. And they tell you they don't have money to help the people, but they have money to fly these jets to spray them chemtrails, them chemicals, man. You know? And at this time of the season, you start feeling pains all over your body. You start getting sick. You start feeling all these things. And this is the kingdom where we're living in, man. If you're not saying that this place needs to go down, if you're not praying for the kingdom of heaven to come, I really don't know what to tell you, man. You know? I really don't know what to tell you. Woo! This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as Sirach, chapter 5, verse 1. It says, set not thy heart upon the goods, and say not, I have enough for my life. In which this is the order of the day, you know. Now that, you know, these crises are coming, the rich in the society, we've been seeing different kinds of videos. The rich people of the society, they're stockpiling food. You know, they're buying out entire grocery stores. They're stockpiling every damn thing. And they believe that they have enough for themselves. They build them underground bunkers, you know, that go down about 10 feet. I don't know how much, you know, about 10 floors deep into the ground. 20 floors, you see. But they don't know they're actually building their graves, man. The scripture says otherwise. It says, set not thy heart upon thy goods, and say not, I have enough for my life. Verse 2, it says, follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart. And they tell you, follow your dream, follow your heart, follow your this, follow your blah, follow your that, you know. The heart is the most deceitful thing in a man. And this is what this kingdom is based all about, man. This kingdom is, you know, follow your heart, follow your dreams, follow yourself, follow your this, you know. Hey, the dog actually came to listen, you know. The dog has a sound mind, even more than the sons of Israel. So as I was saying, verse 3, Sirach 5:3 says, and say not, who shall control me for my works? For the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai will surely revenge thy pride. Verse 4, it says, say not, I have sinned, and what harm hath happened to me? For the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is long suffering. He will in no wise let thee go. So you see, this is the time you really want to start repenting, man. The door of mercy is still opened. Set your priorities right. You know, as for myself and my brethren in this truth, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Ratazai gives us the Spirit. He continues giving us the Spirit. Now, this is our life, man. This is our duty. This is our jobs, you know. And these devils are trying to, you know, take away our joy. Because I really feel bad if I don't do these lessons any day. You know, this channel that we have, these devils are closing these channels. You know, this shit is really painful, man. You know, I can't do the live lessons that I usually do and have my brethren, you know, we're breaking bread together, man. People putting comments on the comment board, you know, edifying and building the church. These devils are all against all that, you know. But it's all good. It's still part of the signs of the end. We know this kingdom is about to come to its very end. So our priorities are all different, totally different. We have totally different priorities, you know. Our priorities is expecting the kingdom of heaven to come, man. You know, we're looking for a new heaven, a new earth where righteousness is going to rule. You know, we're praying that this place goes down as fast as it can, man, you know. So let me get the book of Second Peter. See. Wow. And this connects to the scripture I just read in the book of Sirach, chapter 5, verse 4. It says, say not, I have sinned, and what harm hath happened unto me? For the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is long suffering. He will in no wise let you go. This is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. It says, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness, but in long suffering to us, towards this English that's written here. Okay, it says, but in long suffering towards not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. So many people saying that nothing has happened to them, all their days of sinning and doing wickedness. You know, they continue, they grow stronger in their wickedness. They're not repenting because deep in their hearts, they think the Most High is sleeping. The Most High doesn't know what he's doing, you know. They think this place is not going down, but the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is long suffering, you know. There is a time set for everything. Our time is different from the time of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So the ways of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai are absolutely different. You can't try to start using your carnal mind to start calculating and trying to understand what the Most High is like. No, it doesn't work like that. Verse 10, it says, but the day of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. This is going to be the end of this place, man. America, Babylon the Great, and his allies, and many of his allies, you know. Verse 11, it says, saying that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness? This is your priority, man. You know, this is meant to be your priority. In all holy conversation and godliness. What's the holy conversation? This conversation that we have in this truth, you know. This truth is meant to be what you should be diving into. This truth is meant to be your everything. This truth is meant to be your priority in this time. Okay? So, this is how much the Spirit has permitted me. Hopefully this lesson was edifying through the Spirit and power of the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. I'm going to see what to do with the third channel and see. I don't know why I can't go live in the third channel. But hey, it's all good. I'd like to give all praises to the Most High Yahweh, Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Rukakwadash, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahawashi, Barakata Yahweh, Bahasham Yahawashi. My double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone GMS. These are the men that taught me this truth, which is the 100% truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect spread around the four corners of the earth, pushing this gospel in all sincerity, most especially in these last days. Hey, shalom. On to the next one. Shalom.